Hi, thank you for joining me. My name is Ines, and today I will be showing you how I modify a regular 3D letter into a shaker style one. So there are actually some shaker 3D letters on the market, and I bought some, and but I didn't like them. So I actually bought two sets. So one is a regular 3D letter set. I bought it, I believe, from svgcuts.com, and these are my favorite. And I bought the shaker ones, and for some reason I don't like them. So I just modify the ones I like into shaker ones, and I'm just going to be showing you how I do that. So this was made for as an aid project, and I did the three letters AID, but I did the D as a shaker letter, and I bought some little toys like a sheep, and I had like a tree inside. You can check it out, it's on my Instagram page. I will be linking my Instagram pages below, so please check out my work, and if you like, please follow me. And if you like this video, please subscribe and share. Okay, so let's begin. So this is what the regular D SVG will look like. Okay, so this will be like the back of your letter, and this will be the front, and these will go on the side to close your letter, and this is just like the outer layer that you cut usually of like fancy paper. So this is what the letter would look like, and these are like, this is the part that goes around the letter and like on the inside to close it. Okay, so for me this will not work because this is like an empty part which I need to close. Okay, so I'm not gonna mess with the front part, I'm just gonna modify the back. Okay, so what I basically need is just like a regular D with no space inside. Okay, so just like a regular backing. So it's really simple. So I just go with like a basic shape. So let's say, is this a square? So let's say a square, and I just cover the empty part, select the two, and weld. Okay, so this is my back, and now I'm gonna change the color of this just so you can tell which layer is which. Okay, so bring forward. That bring forward doesn't always work. Okay, so this is my back, the black part, or like the black piece. This is the front, and this is the outer layer. Okay, I'm still missing two pieces. Okay, so I will need an acetate sheet, especially if you're using glitter or like any of the other shaker elements that will come out of your letter. So you'll need the acetate sheet to cover this part. Okay, if you're using, like, if you're making a scene, like if you have, like with the aid letters that I made, I really did not need that. It might, I don't know if it will look more finished with the acetate sheet. I don't like it. I don't like the acetate very much, because when I tend to take pictures or videos of whatever it is inside the letter, there will be some reflection and it will show my phone. So I could have went without it, but I still went ahead and used the acetate sheet. For the acetate sheet, it will have to be so you have two options. You can either, for ease, you can have it the same exact size as this D, which you can just duplicate this, and this will be your acetate sheet. Okay, but I think, like, if you use like if you offset it by even just a little bit, so 0.125, let's just do a little bit more. Okay, so if you do like a negative offset and you make it slightly smaller, let's say, let's change the color of it. It will give you more room when you're gluing it to your to the top part. You will have more room for you not for it not to show, right? So for my D letter, the last time I made it, I did not do the offset, so it showed just a little bit from the side. It is transparent, so it's not a big deal if it shows, but if you want it to be perfect, I feel like doing this offset gives you more room for error, right? So it will make it not show, which will make it more, I don't know, professional looking if it's not showing. It is clear, so it doesn't really matter that much, but I feel like the offset is I feel like it's very helpful. Okay, so send to back. Okay, so these are my 3 top layers. I'm just going to show you also what I do with this. There are 2 options for it. You can just use like fancy papers or whatever you want to do. So like, I don't know, pattern paper, glitter paper, whatever you want to do, or you can use a pattern from Design Space, and I'm going to be showing you how to do that. But another layer that I usually, so I'm gonna change this back to black because this will be the same color as my back, not my back, but this part. Okay, so I usually put another layer on top of this because, one, I don't want my background to be black, which is, I made my letters out of black poster board, so I don't want, for the sake of my scene, I didn't want it to be black. But also, I see these tabs, so you fold them and you attach them to this. So if you look at it, you will be able to see the tabs. So I'll need another layer to cover the tabs since this is transparent. It doesn't really show if you don't have this part and it's not a shaker, but if it is a shaker, you will see this part. So what I do is I repeat the same process. So I can use the same, but this was so I can either use this, but this is what it will look like. Like I can just copy paste it, and I can copy paste it, and I will have another layer. Okay, fine. Send this back. Send to back. So I can have this as my background, but I usually do less of an offset. So I don't make it this big. I make it very 0.18, so let's say 0.1. So see, just a little bit of an offset. And let's say for my D letter, I use this as I wanted it to look more like a sky. So for now, I'm just going to do this in blue. But this is what I'll show you later. Okay. So you'll have the back of your letter. You'll have this on top of it. It will cover your tabs and it will serve as a background for your scene. Okay, and you'll have these 3 layers on top. Just gonna group them for now. So this is what it will look like. Okay, so you'll have the layer on the back, the black one. You'll have the background of your scene, or the background that is showing on your shaker. You'll have the black part, which is the front of your D, and underneath it you'll have the acetate. And then you'll have the D, which is the front of your letter, and then this usually in fancy paper. Okay, so one other way to do the top part is you can just use, if you have a pattern that serves, or like paper that serves the purpose or that you want to use. So let's say fancy paper, usually like glitter or metallic or whatever you want to use. Okay, Or another way to do it, and this is what I did, I'm just gonna ungroup it for now. I used a pattern from Design Space, okay? So if you don't use a pattern, you can just use whatever colored cardstock you have and just cut it. So it will be just a basic cut. If you don't want to do that, there's another option where you can just go to print and cut, okay? So I change it now to print and cut. If I leave it like it is right now, it's just going to print it out of yellow or whatever color I pick, okay? But there's another way to do it. So instead of color, you can just go to pattern and just pick one of the patterns over here. So these are patterns that I uploaded. So I bought them and I uploaded them. And the rest are some Cricut or like Design Space patterns. So you can just filter by color, and that's what I did. I wanted it blue, and this was actually one of the patterns that I used. So if I do it like this, it's gonna print my D. It will look like this. It will print it, so I can print it using my printer, and then I will put it into my Cricut machine, and it will cut it. So this is what the letter will look like. Okay, so again, the back of my letter, the background, the front of my letter, using the poster board. Again, I keep forgetting the acetate. So acetate, the front of my letter, and this patterned front. Okay, so and it's kind of the same thing. So for my background, let me show you what I also do before I do the background. Okay, because I'm going to talk about the designer and what I used exactly. So it was Aid 3D letter. So I tried to pick. So these are illustrations by Mujka Design, Mujka. I'm gonna link her illustrations down below. Her work is really nice. Her illustrations cut beautifully, so I've never had problems with the edges. They're very smooth and they cut very fast. If the illustrations are not meant for cutting, it will have rough edges and it will take Cricut forever to cut them, but it also will ruin your mats because it's rough. So it leaves a lot of residue, like paper residue on your mats. Her illustrations are very nice. They cut very smooth, so I've never had problems with hers. So I picked this design because it had a sheep and I wanted it for 8. Okay, so I picked the designs that had sheep in them, and you just pick whatever size you want to do. Okay, I remember like I wanted my design very big, so, and I'm glad I did because it stands out. Okay, so I wanted to show you this. Okay, so for the background of my scene, so I had the little lamb, and then I had the tree. So I wanted the backing to be to look more like a sky, but I didn't want to use just regular blue cardstock. So what I did is I just also used a background of hers. So one of the projects that I did was a dress-up doll. You can see it actually on my Instagram. They're really cute. I made 2, one for my son and one for my daughter. I cut one out of laminated paper and I cut the other out of magnetic sheets. So she has these as like the background for her dolls. And it might be in some of her other designs as well. So I just added to canvas. It's too big, of course, so I just make it slightly smaller. I'm just gonna unlock it. doesn't have to be exact, but you want it to be close enough. So I picked the two layers, and I sliced. So right now, where did it go? Okay. So right now, I don't need this one, and I don't need this one. I only need this one. Okay. So this is what my background looks like. I hate when it does that. So this is what my background looks like. And she actually has these as like a background for her dolls. So front. So I'm just gonna make this slightly smaller. So like to me this looks like a hell and I don't know, layers of sky. And this is actually what I did for the background of my scene. Okay. And then my design. So you can either do this, or it depends on what you intend to do with your shaker. So some you can use the illustration inside and have the little doll inside standing here with, I don't know, clouds, or so whatever you envision your shaker letter to look like. So you can just do whatever you want inside your letter. Okay, this is the clear part. This is the area where it will show you what's inside of it. Okay, so I think this is it. These are all the modifications that I do for my regular 3D letters to change them into shaker ones. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and please check out my Instagram pages for more of my projects. And if you have any questions or comments, please add them below. Thank you for your time, and thank you for joining me.